Okay, it is Saturday, September 9th, and as you can see, we got the 64 fairlane apart again. Now, I did try it at the racetrack since I built the carburetor. Carburetor works fine. It was a little better, but still the car is like a tenth slow off the trailer, and then it picks up. So we still got something going on. My first thought was, after I seen that pattern, was, you know, I haven't replaced valve springs in this thing in a long, long time. These springs have been on these heads. They were installed by a guy when I had the other engine freshened up. These heads were off another engine I used to run. But they were installed on this engine in 2004. And I never had any trouble out of them. And so I used them when I built this bottom end and put these heads on it. Used those same springs. And it seemed good at first. And so I got to thinking, you know, this is a roller cam. I've gone a lot longer without replacing springs than most guys go. A lot of guys are really serious, like the super stockers and stuff, that really need to run every tiny bit as fast as they can. They swap them out every so many passes. Some of them do it more than once a season. But I was kind of thinking it was that, and I did test the original springs that were on this, and here they are right now. And they tested fine, and maybe I should do a short, show you how I test them. But they tested fine, but I decided to go ahead and replace them anyway. But I'm not sure if that's what's wrong with this car, because they tested okay. But like I said, I replaced them. But one thing I did find out about this car, it's in neutral right now. Now I should be able to push this car really easy. I mean, this is not a super duper heavy car. As you can see, it's been lightened. It's not the lightest race car out there, but let me try to do this with, hear that? It takes a lot of effort. Now, I should be able to take this one hand right here. I got a elbow locked in here. I should be able to move this car, and I can't. Brakes are not releasing all the way. Now here's a car that weighs probably about 800 pounds more. I think the fairlane weighs, now I think the fairlane weighs 3150 with me in it. This Torino weighs 3790 with me in it. Yes, I did weigh it. But watch this. Well, maybe it's going to make a liar out of me. I have been able to push this car. It's kind of hard to do anything with the camera, but as you can see, it's moving. I can put my knee against that bumper and move it. It's a big heavy car. Got disc brakes all the way around. A little bit of resistance, but I can move it. I can't budge this black car. So, I think it's what's wrong. As you can see, I don't want to put my bumper or knee against this bumper. It won't budge. But it will move. Two people could push it, but it shouldn't be that hard to push. So I'm thinking that might be my problem. I'm going to go ahead and do these springs, and I want to show you this tool I made. Let me set the camera up, show you how it makes it, because a regular valve spring tool doesn't get up under there. I've already done all of this side. And this valve spring tool, what it does, find the spring here. I have to put this spring over the stud first, this light spring, which I found at Tractor Supply in a whole kit. Where did I put that kit? Around here somewhere. Wouldn't you know it? I can't find it. Anyway, there was a whole kit of assorted, here it is, whole kit of assorted springs. It was less than $5, I think. I'd have to look. But I think it was less than $5. There's a little bit of everything in there. But I needed some sort of spring under it, because when I tighten the nut down to compress the spring, it would put it in a bind, and I got it locked on there. But it doesn't do that with this little spring under it. You wouldn't think that little bit of a spring would help, but it does. So what I do is basically I tighten this nut down, and if you hear air hissing, it's because I got air running to the spark plug hole, so that when I compress that valve spring, the valve doesn't drop down in the cylinder. And we figure out a good way to set this camera up, and I'll show you how it works. Yeah, I need some needle nose to get a hold of one of these locks. Here's one. And sometimes, and I'm hoping I won't have to compress it anymore. You want to compress it as little as you have to. Hoping I can move this spring over a little bit, because it's not exactly centered in that valve, and it's kind of holding that one lock on, and there it goes, it came loose. And you can see, actually I like this better than my other one, which I used to was shaped like an S. It was a bar and I had to pry it. Oh, it was kind of hard to hold those high pressure springs down and do those locks with the other hand. Yeah, this works pretty good. See that one's going to try to bind on me a little bit, but just tap it, it'll come up. In case you're wondering, I have a towel laying on the fender. Some people like to get on people for laying tools on their fenders. This isn't the best paint job in the world anyway. But there you go. Old spring off. I'm going to make sure my installed height is right. And put the new one on. Now, on this one, now I could not find the exact springs this guy had on this, but I looked up my cam card, which luckily I did have, and found the recommended spring height, and I found some springs. Well, actually I did have the part number to the springs that he put on here, because I had all my receipts from 2004, but when I ordered them, they were not the springs that he put on the receipt, meaning that he probably had some old used ones and sold them as new ones. They worked. It was kind of a dishonest thing to do. So we won't be going back to that guy, and that's why I did not call him to make sure to find out what kind of springs, because he'd just say, oh, I got something to sell you, and he'd probably sell me some more used ones for the price of new. But the springs that had the part number that he wrote on the receipt would work with this cam. They had the right pressures, but they were at a different installed height. My installed height was 1 inch 830 on all these springs. They recommend 1 inch 900. So I found some keepers that I ordered from Jegs, I do believe, that raise the installed height 50 thousandths. And here are your keepers right here. I don't want to get these two mixed up now. But in this hand is the new keeper, which raises at 50. Here is the original standard height keeper. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the difference or not, but the groove is in a different place. And this keeper here raises it up 50 thousandths. So I went from 830 to 880. They recommend 1 inch 900. But I think that's going to be okay, because I checked these springs at those heights, and should be fine because the springs he had on it were a lot stronger than they recommend for the cam. So I'm sure these springs are going to be fine and not going to cause any damage. I wonder if it's going to perform like it did. It should, because they were a lot more than recommended. You can get away with that on a roller cam, or so I was told. Now, if you was running a hydraulic or a solid flat tappet cam, you better darn well be sure that you are under the recommended, at or under the recommended spring pressures for that cam, because too much spring pressure will wipe the loads right off a hydraulic or flat tappet solid cam. Now on these solid rollers, they're a little more lenient. They can take more pressures because it is a roller lifter. And actually I do have an old lifter laying around here that I could show you. It was on my other engine a long time ago. And right there is what you saw. And that is why your spring pressures, they are picky, but it's more lenient on more pressure because less friction, not as hard on the cam. But actually, the cam card, I'll have to show you all that later. I may do a spring test with one of the old springs. But anyway, I'm setting all these at 1 inch 870. I said 880, actually it's more like 870. And how I check that, I take 2 of my keepers, and I don't think my calipers are going to fit up in here. Not straight. Yeah, I've got to use my inside mics on those. Actually, usually I got a 1 inch spacer I can stick in there, and I can use those calipers and measure on the inside, but not this time. I've got some inside mics that I can measure this one with, and I'm measuring each and every one of them just to make sure nothing got machined funny. I'm just putting my locks and my retainer on with no spring. Pull up against that and spin it so it will hopefully stay. Sometimes they drop and they make me say bad words. They fall on the ground and I have to find them. Stuff like that. Got some inside mics. I want 1 inch 870 or more. It doesn't have to be exact. It'd be good if it was, but it doesn't have to be. See if I can get this thing in here. With my head's in the way. This is kind of an awkward thing to do for sure. Try something here. We'll take my calipers. Set it at about what it should be, 1 inch 870. That way I know I'm close. See if I can do this without getting my head in the way. I bet my hand's going to be in the way for sure. There we go. It's kind of hard to get that inside there. They make a special mic for checking these. It fits. It's got a hole in the middle of it, and it fits over top of the actual valve and the guide, and it pretty much looks just like this inside mic except for that, and you can put it in there and do it like that. Trying to get a feel here. It fell on me, but I think I got a decent reading, and I'm getting 1 inch 870. Can you see that? Yep, you can. It's upside down, but you can see it. And that's exactly what all the others are. At least they're all the same. So now I gotta take all these back off. Get my new spring, which is way over there. case you're wondering why the head's dry, I stuck a bunch of towels down in there and let all that oil soak up overnight. Makes it a little easier to work on it when everything's clean and dry. Put my spring back in here. Always put that painted line pointed outward so I can keep track of which ones I have and have not replaced. This will be a little harder to get the nuts started on them because we've got an uncompressed spring we're putting on. Got a couple threads on there. And make sure I don't get it. I'll try to keep that centered up. It's not perfect. It wants to move on me, but I didn't see anything else I could buy that would work. I also need to take the screwdriver and push that spring out that way. Put my keepers and everything else over here so I won't knock it off the car. Centering that spring up again. It likes to move around on you. This is better than pulling the heads. And in case you wonder what that popping is, it's just that it's kind of, I told you without this spring it would kind of bind it on the stud. And it kind of caught on it and then it popped down on there. It doesn't hurt anything. So I didn't break anything. And I bet that's low enough, I hope. I'm going to go down a little further. One in. Let's see. If I can shove the spring this away. There we go. And there's another one in. Right there. And we just loosen it up. And it's locked in. Of course, you want to keep a close eye on the keeper, make sure they're in the right spot. And that's all there is to swapping a valve spring, and that is how my homemade tool works. I'm kind of proud of that. It works good. Like I said, it's better than pulling ahead, and I pretty much would have had to by looking at all the other tools